So I'm all the time looking to get my 20 diesel, my first 20 diesel, a little bit more original. So I came across this Lucas Dynamo in a job lot of parts. There's blue paint underneath it, there's grey paint on top of it. I cleaned it down to get part numbers and all of that. And I also had this other Dynamo as well that's in bad state. But I managed to salvage some parts, such as good kind of the clips there for the brushes and stuff, and I managed to salvage a brush out of that as well. And I do have new brushes as well, I think, that are after landing here, C40, if I'm not mistaken, they're C40 brush set, and they're all basically the same. They were the same nearly in all. I actually think that they're probably even the same in the starter. So one difference between this and the Dynamo that's on the 20 diesel at the moment, the Dynamo that's on the diesel is new, and I don't really know where it was made. I got it from a good company in England for 4 years ago, but it's not Lucas, and I like my Lucas. I like to have them as original as possible. So another thing that's worth noticing on this is your bracket. The tensioner is down there, whereas on the Dynamo that's on the tractor, this is kind of jutting out around here, so the bracket goes above it, whereas this you need the bracket below. Now that's not a big deal, but I'm not 100% sure which one was actually original. So this one is, it would have been, the end of it was broke off, so I don't know. But I have two pulleys, and I have a pulley on the Dynamo, obviously it's on the tractor. So this is the one that came off it, but there's a little bit broke out of it there. But it's a genuine part. There, 0367, so maybe that's 1967. Most of them are dated, so I know the original ones seem to have three little lads there. This was off the other Dynamo there, and I seem to have threaded lad in the front, maybe to run, I don't know, to turn maybe a tachometer or something, maybe it bolted it on, I'm not sure. That'll fit on as well. This one seems to be narrower, this is wider, and the pulley that's on it at the moment is too wide, so I got a torch to show what's happened. I was the whole time adjusting the voltage regulator on this tractor before I realised it was fan belt, and the fan belt was slipping. I'll get the torch on now and we'll get a better look at what's going on here. So you'll see that the bracket goes on the top, whereas on the Dynamo that I have, it's down here, so I'd have to go underneath it. But if you look at the fan belt there, it's just it's too narrow, and you can literally turn this. So, and I filed that there to try and get more tension on it a load of times, so I don't want to go doing that much more. What I'd prefer to do now is take off that Dynamo and fit on the other one and try and see if I can get it going. If I can, I will strip the old one, paint it up, and I'll fit it. So that would be my plan. So I'll get this off, fit the other one on, try and fit this pulley onto, or the other pulley. I'll see whichever one's better. I'll get my vernier and see which one's narrowest, and we'll see then as a charge. That's the plan anyway. First thing, I'm going to bring this up a bit closer because the lighting's very bad back there. Great starter. This hasn't been started in a long time. So that's that, and then we get our few spanners here. Half inch spanner and a half inch. And I'm going to throw on the If I throw my hat, I have a hat there that has the torch on, so I'll come back with that on. The first thing I'll do is take off the wires off the back. So there's a big one, and there's a narrow one. The narrow one's the field coil, and the big one is marked as Dynamo. This is your tensioner. It's maxed out, it's still slipping. So instead of me going and turning up my voltage regulator, all I really need to do is make sure that this isn't bloody slipping. That would end all my issues. And if we can get a nice original part on instead of this aftermarket, God knows where, we're getting that another little detail or two right on it. So that's that, and that bracket lifts up out of the way a bit there. And now we just have 2 half-inch bolts. I'm just holding these wires away from the spanner, so I don't want them earthing. One bolt out, so I'll keep him on the fuel tank. These are a fine thread bolt, and I remember looking through my tub of salvaged nuts and bolts. I'm getting the ones that are a nice length, because when I bought this there was every sort of a nut and a bolt in it, so that comes off there. Bit of a jiggle, out comes your bolt, and there's your Dynamo. So we'll take a quick look at this in the vise. I want to see about taking off the pulley. Set up our camera stand here. So that's the one we're hoping to fit, all going well. And this is the one that was on it. It works okay, it just keeps slipping. So okay. Sounds good. They all make a bit of a squeak. There's just brushes. Brush is rubbing, so we'll try and take off that bolt on the end. So probably a bit of fun now. Grab that in the vise. I obviously don't want the Dynamo itself to fall, so I get an extension. I remember there was a bit of tricking around with this pulley, if I'm not mistaken. I wasn't happy going on straight away. It's cast iron, so we have to be careful over tightening it in the vise. There's a big lump of break over it. Okay, so that's that loosened. Okay. We're getting somewhere. What's that? This is coming off really easy. Interesting. Now, what's happening here? So I obviously had to put spacers in there at some point as well. Isn't that interesting? So anyway, take that off. We'll put this in its place. And I'm just going to try, because this is a nice pulley. Now, one thing to notice about this pulley, I was on it, and this one here, you see the spacer on the back of it there? So we're going to have to work out which one is best. But that won't take a lot of time. See, does this even go on? I might want to go on. The keyway could be too big, I don't know what I'll say. So we'll just tap it on that much. What I'll do is I'll bring it back over, and we'll just throw a bolt or two through it, see, does it actually line up? And see, are we winning here at all? So far, things are going smoothly. Right, it's focusing there, right. And we'll get a bounce here. Just to throw through it, see, is this going to be, firstly, this one needs to be down there, somewhere, I presume. It mightn't even work now, so it mightn't. I'll lift it back up out of the way and see what way can we do this now. So it is going to fit onto the bracket. It fits lovely and snugly actually. Really snugly. Okay. So that's bolt number 1 through. Let's take a look here and see how are we going to do this. Oh, it actually doesn't look that bad. I thought that bracket was going to be going underneath. It doesn't seem to be at all. So take off the fan belt again. Just throw in a bolt on the other end of it here. Okay, and the one in the front, let that roll up under there. Looks like a good fit there. Push it in. Pull on our fan belt and see what sort of a setup. Same crack here. It's a little bit short. Now, I could have another one of them spare. I think I do. Might be a bit longer. But we're talking, I'd only need it for 3 or 4 mil, I'd say. For the fun of it, right? For the sheer amount of fun of it, I'm just going to quickly throw in this bolt here, this nut. I'm going to just give it a start and see. It might need to be polarized. In other words, it's what you have to do. Or that's the wrong one. What you have to do with some of them. I'm not even going to bother putting the washer on because I don't see one there handy. So I'll just throw that on. Not that it's probably going to go anywhere, but just to be safe. Remember, I had to retread this. I'll just give that slice nip at 11/16, I think it is. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Just a nip. I won't go making it hard to take off, because I will have to take it off. Put it on that'll even do. Put it on the washer. I'm just going to quickly throw a nut on these. It doesn't have to be very tight. Just is that a locking? Oh, it's locking. Okay, that might need a spanner to go on. So far, so good. This is fairly smooth. It's going fairly smooth. I've cleaned up the electrical connections on it. Let's give it a quick nip there. For the sake of a couple of seconds. Okay. That's okay. It's not looking too bad. And now we're just going to put on our connections. I said I'm not even going to polarize this. You have to polarize them. So that's our field coil. Goes on in there. That's pushing in rather than going onto the electrical connection. That's not fucking ideal now, is it? Make sure it's going on straight. Well, that's a bit of a bummer. We were doing so well. Huh? Get it screwed out of it. I will be able to sort that out, but I would like to have to strip it down a bit. I don't mind doing that, but I'd like to make sure it's actually working. I remember testing this already, I think in the Schleip, in the Shed series of videos on the playlist there. But that said, it was best way of testing is put it on the tractor. Yes, that's very tight. Okay, we'll just get it on a bit there, just enough to make a connection. And that, on the other hand, is very freaking loose. Give him a squeeze. Right, that's probably enough. That's probably enough to test it. And we can then walk to the ammeter on the dash here and see what is happening. It's been the quickest dynamo change of my life now. It's actually going very smooth. Right, there we go. Give it a start. See what happens. Oh, I've missed one bolt. I missed the bolt for the tensioner, so we'll slap him in. Slap him in quickly. Right. Slap him in quickly. Tensioner up. I don't know, is that actually threading in there at all? Doesn't seem to be. Seems to be some form of a thread in it. Touch and see. There isn't. So I'll go and get a nut and bolt and I'll come back. Right, so on the other dynamo, yes, it's threaded. It's actually probably better off not being threaded in this. Get a stronger knit on it. We'll tread in a bit, I suppose. Now, we can get a tension on the belt. Nip them up a bit. That'll do for testing. Okay, so round to the good old ammeter. That'll tell a tale now. Okay. Interesting to see now, will this make a lot of noise or will it be smooth? Because I don't even know if I lubricated it. Not a thing. I think I see why. Focus. So there's a rivet there and there's an electrical connection going around it. There's loops on it. So that's not going to be making the connection at all. So give it a bit of rev. I'm just going to play around with that connection down there. See, can we get any when I pull the connection, see the charge. I don't know why it looks like there's a crack across that, there isn't. definitely registering the charge there anyway. Spark there now when I was messing down at the connector. The cutout switch is definitely working. Okay, that's interesting. See the spark there? So that's all that's wrong with that dynamo. That's a rivet. So that can be taken apart and a bolt put through it. Actually see a little blue spark there the odd time underneath it. If I turn off my light, it might be a bit easier to see. Yeah, it's getting very loose there. Okay, so that's what's going on there. So, bit of a pull on the connection and it's charging. So that's interesting. Is that something we can fix? Well, for a start, I'm already only after removing the parts in here. So put the camera down for a second. I'm going to take the connection off the back of that dynamo. I've already done that there recently, and that is the connector there, and the insulator there is behind it. They came off this dynamo here. I had to cut everything off that. It was completely and utterly destroyed. So it's a rivet that goes through that, so I'll drill that out in another place with a nut, a stainless steel nut and bolt, and then it goes into this bracket there beside it there, and into a brush then, the brush bracket there as well, and there the other insulator. So I have all them spare, just as well I stripped that other dynamo. So that's going to be the plan of action with that. Drill it all out and take off the back of the dynamo, and I think then we can strip it and paint it and fit it back on. But we are back then, of course, to a genuine Lucas part, and that's exactly what I want. Factory fitment.